This word was misused so often by Korean learners, by native speakers, by Korean teachers. In fact, every textbook I've ever seen, including mine, teaches this too, which is incorrect. Well, it was incorrect technically. We'll talk about that. And the reason is because, although it was incorrect, it's how it was always actually used. And in fact, it was misused so often and so frequently that in 2020, it was finally officially accepted as Korean. Took a long time. Now, I'm not talking about this. This is also something that's really commonly misused, is 예요, when you end a word with like 이에요 or 예요, being spelled as 에요. This is still a misspelling. This is not accepted as correct Korean yet. And this one is extremely common. However, many people already know this, and there isn't any teachers I know that are teaching it like this. At least they shouldn't be teaching it like this. So then what word am I talking about? I am talking about this word, 이요. This gets attached onto the end of a word that's at the end of a sentence in order to make that sentence polite. So first of all, huge thank you to the sponsor of this video, you. Especially those of you who are my Patreon members and channel members. You are actually keeping the lights on. You're helping me to pay for my electricity bill and write books and make videos and all of that stuff. Really, it's all thanks to you that I can keep doing this. If you are also interested in becoming one of my supporters and a supporter of this channel, I'll have links in the description box below for how you can do that. I really appreciate all of you. Now, for some reference, let me first explain what's going on. Now, if you end a sentence with a word, not a verb that's conjugated, but just a word, you're supposed to add something to the end to make it polite, if you're speaking politely. So if you want to be polite, you'll attach 요 onto the end of that word if it ends in a vowel, or if it ends in a consonant, you're going to attach 이요. For example, if someone asks a question to you, but you're not sure if they're talking about you or someone else, you might say, me? But you wouldn't just say, 저? Because that's kind of weird. It's polite here, but the sentence is not polite, so you would attach 요 because it ends in a vowel and you get 저요? Now you have a polite question. Me? 저요? Or if someone asks you where you're from and you don't want to say, I am from America, you just want to say, America. Well, you wouldn't just say 미국 because this would be casual. You could say it to your friends, but you would say 미국이요 because it ends in a consonant, so you get 미국이요, like that. 미국이요. Where are you from? 미국이요. And nearly, I'll say nearly just because there might be someone out there who doesn't do this, but nearly every single Korean person does it like this. 이요 after a consonant, 요 after a vowel. Now, there are some exceptions, however. If a word ends with this letter, you can use either 이요 or 요, and they both sound okay. So if you're ending your sentence, you just want to say, really? Well, that would be 정말. You could either say 정말이요? Really? Or just 정말요? Really? And they both sound fine. Also, if you're using the topic marker, that would be 는 or 은, you would not attach 이요. It would always be just 요. So if you wanted to say, what about you, 철수? Well, you would just do 철수는요, not 철수는이요. That would be, it would sound awkward. And the same actually goes for the object marker too. If you wanted to use that, it would also just be with 요. Again, this is what nearly every single person does. Native speakers, textbooks, like official textbooks that you'll find, Korean professors who teach Korean, and until the year 2020, this was wrong. Officially, this was incorrect. And if you search 이요 and 요 online, you're going to find dozens and dozens of articles about how actually there is no such thing as 이요 to attach to the end of your sentence to make it more polite. There is only 요. So when you're making a sentence that just ends in one word, whether it ends in a vowel or a consonant or marker or whatever, you're only supposed to attach 요, not this, never 이요. That means if you wanted to answer, you're from America, well, you would just say 미국요. Now, due to sound change rules, you actually get this, 미국요. Or if someone asks, what did you buy at the bookstore? And you want to say a book, you would have to say 책요, which is again, 책요 is how you read it. So then what's going on? Well, if you check Naver Dictionary, you will definitely find 이요. even before 2020. Because there are some cases when you do use iyo, but then why wasn't iyo accepted? Because the iyo that you can find in the dictionary and that you could find already is a different meaning. In fact, there were 2 different words that would be said as iyo. There was, and still is, iyo, and then there is also iyo. And both of these would be pronounced the same way. So first of all, iyo. Well, you'll see this in some cases. There's a common idiom that uses this. 모르면 약이요, 아는 게 병이다. This means not knowing is medicine and knowing is a disease. And this is the Korean equivalent of ignorance is bliss. Notice that I said not knowing is medicine and knowing is a disease. And this iyo is not the iyo added to make a sentence polite. In fact, this sentence is not polite. It ends with the plain form, 이다. This iyo is actually a separate grammar form. It's not even iyo, it's simply attaching 요 to a verb stem. In this case, the verb is 이다, to be, so you get iyo, and this means and. So it's used in archaic texts. So you might see this sort of grammar pop up in like the Bible or maybe in prayers, stuff like that. So it's used when you're stating multiple facts, one after another. So something is this and something is this. So you can kind of think of this form as kind of being like the modern 고 ending. There are other ways you could do this, but 약이고 아는 게 병이다, like is and. But anyway, no native Korean speaker would get this form confused with the yo at the end of a sentence in the first place because it has a completely different meaning. Okay, so then let's look at iyo. This is actually an old version of the conjugation you would be familiar with as ieo, or this also becomes yeo. So this was from the verb ida, to be, and the o was just the verb ending. This is actually an archaic politeness level known as haoche. And although it's archaic, it's not used anymore. For the most part, you'll still see and hear this sort of form used in Korean historical dramas and sometimes by the older generation. What this politeness level is a casual politeness level. It's not disrespectful. It's kind of like you're speaking to another person who's the same rank as you, or if you're speaking with someone who's a lower rank than you, it's speaking with them as if they were the same rank as you. So again, this is not the same as attaching yo or iyo to the end of your word to make your sentence polite. If someone asked you where you're from and you were to write or say 미국이요, it's basically just saying 미국이에요. You're not saying America politely, you're just saying it is America, because this means to be, it is. So basically, iyo is just a misuse of this iyo. But honestly, if iyo is wrong, I don't want to be right. Because using yo after a consonant, if it's not the topic marker or the letter lir, as I said, just sounds weird. And using iyo after a consonant sounds so much more natural. For example, if someone asked where you're going and you were to just say 집요, no, you say 집이요. That sounds much more natural. So I honestly don't regret teaching this as iyo forever, even though it's been just yo until it was changed. And I think that everyone else, every other textbook, every other teacher who was also teaching it like this is doing the right thing. So now you know where it came from and why it was considered wrong for so long, but also now you know why they finally changed it. And the reason they changed it, well, is it really wrong if everybody says it that way and writes it that way and teaches it that way and publishes it that way? So yeah, it was officially accepted. Now you can find entries to it in the dictionary as well with the same meaning as yo that's used after a consonant. Join me again next time. I hope you don't think this was a useless lesson. I liked this sort of lesson. I've been working on this lesson, like taking notes, since before they changed it. Originally, I was gonna make this video to be about why they need to change it, that I started writing like way before COVID, and I kind of put it on the back burner and now decided to finally film it. Do you like this kind of lesson? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you do. Hopefully it's not just a waste of time. But join me again next time for more language changes and grammar lessons right here on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐!